Assalamu alaikum. I am Lina Khalid, MA student at University of Baghdad College of Education for Women. Today we have a new subject, the history of syntax. First of all, I want you to read this question and try to answer it at the end of our lecture. What is syntax? What is MGG? What does this letter mean? Number 3. Explain in tree diagram difference between surface structure and deep structure. Number 4. What is uniformity in syntax? In linguistics, syntax is the set of rules, principles, and processes that govern the structure of sentence. The perspective of theorizing about syntax, which is our concern here, a critical point of departure is Chomsky's syntax structure, syntactic structures. So I refer to the direct line of development of from syntactic structure as mainstream generative grammar MGG. This term reflects the central role that Chomskyan program has played in the field in terms of development of both his proposals and alternatives to them. If we misorder the words of a sentence in a language such as English, the judgment of unacceptability is very strong and reflects the knowledge of what the order should be. For example, 1b is ungrammatical because the article the follows rather than precedes the head of its phrase. A. The police arrested Sandy. B. Police the arrested Sandy. They here make the sentence ungrammatical. Another example. A. Sandy divulged the answer but I would never do it. B. Sandy knew the answer but I would never do it. The difference between the two sentences that is do it can refer only to an action, divulge denied an action while no does not, since to be is ill-formed for semantic reasons. The burden of explanation can be borne by the semantic. Grammars and grammaticality. A central assumption of mainstream generative grammar and other theories is that a language is a set of strings of words and morphemes that meet a set of well-formed conditions. In mainstream generative grammar, these are expressible as rules. The rules constitute the grammar of a language and are part of native speaker linguistics knowledge. One task of the linguistic is to formulate, formulate and test hypotheses about what the rules of a language are, that is to determine the grammar. The linguistic hypothesis and the native speaker's knowledge are both called grammar. So this is the definition of grammar. Syntactic structures and the standard theory constituent structure. In syntactic structure, syntax is understood to be the theory of the structure of a sentence in a language. This view has its direct antecedent in the theory of immediate constituents, in which the function of syntax is to mediate between observed form of a sentence and its meaning. We could not understand the form of a language if we merely reduce all complex forms to their ultimate constituents. Bloomfield Bloomfield argued that in order to account for meaning of a sentence, it is necessary to recognize how individual constituents, if for example, words and morpheme constitute more complex forms, which themselves constitute more complex forms. In syntax structure, basic or kernel sentences were derived by the successive application of rewrite rules such as those in a sentence divided into noun phrase and verb phrase be into verb and sometimes noun phrase c noun phrase noun art verb arrested art the a noun police student. So let's see the example here. The application of such rules defined the immediate constituent structure of the sentence. For example, the police arrested the student. What do we have here? This is a tree diagram. Sentence divided into noun phrase and verb phrase. Noun phrase, here we have art, the noun, police, and in another side verb phrase which divided into main verb arrested, noun phrase art, then and noun student. Levels of representation in the standard theory. Chomsky proposed that there are two levels of syntactic representation of a sentence: deep structure and surface structure, related by a set of transformations. The meaning of a sentence in a particular assignment of thematic roles. For example, agent, patient. 2. The argument is determined by deep structure, while surface structure is corresponds to the observed form, including linear order, now called phonetic form. Here we have a tree diagram to explain deep structure and surface structure. Declarative interrogative. Move the auxiliary to the left of the subject. The sentence here, the boy will leave. For deep structure, the tree diagram will be divided into noun phrase, then auxiliary and verb phrase. While in surface structure, will the boy leave? The auxiliary will be in the beginning. Take another example. Transformational grammar and movement rules. Another sentence, deep structure and surface structure. The kids ate the chocolate. In passive, what will happen? Look at the sentence. The chocolate was eaten by the kids. This is transformational. So look at the difference between the two sentences in a tree diagram. Here the chocolate be in the beginning, then was eaten, which is in the passive by the kids. And another example, what H question? Deep structure for this sentence, which dog did Michael feed? Complement a phrase divided into complement and subject, and here are the three diagrams. Michael posted feed which dog? While in surface structure, for which dog did Michael feed? Subject complement which dog, and sentence auxiliary and then another sentence, noun phrase and verb phrase. And the end of the examples here about tree diagram. This is the last one. Passive transformation. John sang harmony. This is deep structure and harmony was sung by John. Surface structure. Okay, another subject uniformity. At this point, it is helpful to consider a methodology of MGG. What do you mean by MGG? What we say its meaning? That is responsible for much of its historical development. This methodology is uniformity, which aims at eliminating redundancy in grammatical formulation. Number one, interface uniformity. It is the assumption that the sentence with the same meaning share a syntactic representation. If meaning is determined by the deep structure as in standard theory, sentence will with the same meaning have the same deep structure representation. For example, the active and the passive are derived from the same representation and the passive transformation does not affect their meaning. Number two, sorry, number two, structure uniformity. Structure uniformity requires that if two constituents in two different sentences have the same grammatical function, then they have the same underlying representation. Look at this example. Who I did police arrested? B. Sandy, the police finally arrested. C. I was introduced to the person who the police arrested. Number three and the last one, dimensional uniformity, assuming that at least some structure are derived by transformations, sameness of structure is captured assuming dimensional uniformity. A typical case is slewing exemplified in number three. The police arrested someone, but I don't know who. What does this mean? The second clause mean, but I don't know who the police arrested. By interface uniformity, the two questions must have the same syntactic representation. By dimensional uniformity, since the full question has W question movement as MGG. What do you mean by MGG? Assumption. Mainstream generative grammar. So must the suicide case so the derivation of number three involve at least WH question movement of who and detention of the police arrested. Similar reasons is applied in the analysis of a variety of elliptical construction. Thank you. Have a nice day.